Welcome to Screen It or Stream It,
where we take a look at a movie that's in theaters now
versus one you can stream at home,
and we try to decide which one should you go with. In this episode of Screen It or Stream It, we're talking Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets. So basically, it is set in the distant future where the International Space Station has grown and grown and grown, with us making contact with lots of different aliens in friendship. So basically 1,000 different worlds have sent people, and now it's become this big hub of activity, and it got too big to stay in Earth orbit, so they pushed it out into space, which was kind of fun, kind of neat little rocket boosters. Anyway, so the story is actually about a couple of secret agents that they live in that city of, Alpha was the name of it?
Yeah.
Alpha. And basically they do whatever the government wants. And they're supposed to be these, combat mission James Bond types, and they go do missions. That's kind of the setting. And as they finish their first mission in the movie, they've been supposedly veterans for years and years, they start to investigate a threat in the heart of their space station city. Apparently there's this mysterious radiation, and they have to go figure out what's going on. Supposedly, foul play is at work. So then things get kind of, weirder after that. Pretty straightforward movie for what it is, and amazing special effects, definitely. What are we going to rate this one?
Well, we took a consensus again, and we came out with 2 stars. Now, granted, we rounded up to 2 stars.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
The
best way I can describe this movie is style over substance.
Yes, they had good special effects. The world was very nice, or the universe, I guess you might say.
It was beautiful.
Yes.
The scenery is beautiful. The costumes are beautiful. Mm-hmm. The creatures are beautiful. The world was beautiful. The CGI was good for the most part. It hit and missed there a couple of times, but for the most part, it was really good.
Some of the actors were beautiful.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah. And 12.
Yeah, that...
So that brings me to the first, So the heroes of the story are Valerian, and I can't even...
Laureline?
Something like that. And we got home and looked it up, and the guy's 30 or 31.
The actor's
like 25. Mm-hmm. I could have sworn they were teenagers when we walked out, and I was confused throughout the entire movie because they kept talking about his years of experience, and he was this grizzled veteran and great operative, and I'm like, does he have his driver's license yet? And it just, I don't know, that threw me out, and that was not the least of the problems.
No, that was off-putting enough, but you might have got around that with, it's the future. We have ways of making people live longer, look younger, you might have got around that. But frankly, people have a certain age range they can play. And it doesn't matter how old they actually are, it matters how old they look. And these two looked a little young for what they were cast, and that's just a casting choice, and in our opinion, a bad one.
Well, and when you were trying to come up with a synopsis for it, it was even hard to do that because the story itself wasn't bad. We're trying to save these people or do things, but there's no rhyme or reason. It's like whoever wrote it did not put a lot of thought into the reasons behind things. Why do we do this? Why is it here? I have no clue what their motivations are. I have no clue why they do the things they do, and it doesn't really seem to care.
And this one is based on a comic book, and I'm sure in the source material there's a lot richer time to build on these things, but you don't have that time in a movie. You have to pare it down to what is important, what's essential, build the characters, and stick with a good story with a couple of subplots that add to that story. There were a lot of side things that happened that really, they were neat that they existed in that world, but didn't really add anything to the story. I mean, that's pretty.
Well, they would go off on a little side quest and do their thing, and yay, we're successful, and hey, we're right back to where we were before we went on that quest, and made no sense whatsoever for them to have gone. It didn't progress the story. It didn't tell us any more about the characters. It was just weird. The shame of it all is it is beautiful, and the world building was great. Like I love that universe. I love the aliens and the space and the planets, and there was this really neat like two-dimensional market where they could see things. You had to have special glasses to see in the other dimension to buy things and exist in this market. It was a really cool idea, and there were a lot of really cool ideas, but it was just really beautiful, really cool ideas strung together with no purpose or no reason behind them. And I don't know, it just makes it feel flat. Which,
that is a problem. But then you add to that really, really terrible dialogue. And I hate to just crap on stuff, but I mean, the dialogue was really bad.
Not only the dialogue, some of the people delivering the dialogue.
Yeah, and it wasn't even bad enough like it's supposed to be funny. It was just not. It was just not good. And I will give some of the actors a pass. Some of them I've seen in other stuff. Clive Owen played the commander. I've seen him in lots of other stuff, but I did not believe him in this movie for whatever reason. I'm not sure exactly what it was, so I'm gonna go ahead and give the other actors I haven't seen a little pass. I'd go watch them again, but they didn't do. I can't think of anyone really that stood out in this movie as wow. What? Actually, no, I take that back. Rihanna did a good job.
When you tell me Rihanna's going to be in a movie, my first thought was she's going to be the worst part of this movie. When you get done, you go, you know what the best part of this movie was? It was Rihanna. Then I'm like,
that is a signal you had a problem.
And she's not in it for very long. She has one of those bit parts. She's in one of those side quests that's totally unnecessary. But
I actually liked her part. For what it was. Good. Again, it was one of those things, oh, that's kind of neat, and then it's over, and it's like, oh, well, that didn't really do much.
I also had, and before we do that, but when I was grappling about the acting, the main characters,
Valerian and Laureline,
those two, and plus the ones that got more than 2 lines, I didn't really, they weren't like cringeworthy. They were just, some of them were kind of but some of the bit players, the people that had one line, the assistant or the some of them were so just, I am going to do this now, thank you, sir. Yeah. And it's like, wow, no, bad.
There is one exception to that, though, that I was thinking about. It just made me laugh the more I thought about it. Kind of early on, there was a guy that was helping him in their first mission in that market, and he took control of this guy that's up in a tower, and he had this very brief interaction with Laureline, and he was, I guess, kind of flirting just because he had control of that guy and he was making him dance and stuff. They did more right there in those 30 seconds with their relationship and building like a thing there than the whole rest of the movie between her and Valerian.
Well, and the movie tried to also be a love story between the two, and there was no chemistry between the two, except I didn't even think about it until somebody said it, but really they were like a brother and a sister. They talked like a brother and sister, acted like a brother and sister, but they were supposed to be love interest of each other, and that was just weird.
I wish they had been.
Brother and sister.
Now, yes, brother and sister instead of love interest. Of course, now that you brought that up, on a scale of Jaime Lannister to Luke Skywalker,
it was not Jaime Lannister bad.
No.
It was definitely on the Luke Skywalker end of the scale.
Yeah. But yes, I agree. It would have been better if they'd been siblings, because the relationship felt more like that's what it should have been rather than what they tried to force it into. It felt forced. It felt very forced to me. So.
And again, going back to there's no rhyme, no reason. Mm-hmm. There is a lot of violence. We like violence. But it's like there's no... They kill a lot of people. A lot of people around them get killed. And they kill a lot of humans. They kill a lot of these alien species. And the city of 1,000 planets... I thought that was some sci-fi thing, and I'm like, how are they going to fit all the planets in there? The city of 1,000 planets just means there's 1,000 different species from different planets in this one place.
Yeah.
And they're all together, and they kill an awful lot of them, and it's very nonchalant, willy-nilly hack and slash and shoot and blow up, and things die constantly, and no one ever cares. There's never a half a second of, oh, we just lost our entire crew. Darn. It's like, let me step over this corpse and just keep walking.
In fact, it was literally 5 people just got killed, helping you out. Oh, darn, I tore my dress.
Yeah, she was more worried about the dress.
That literally happened. I just...
And then later on, somebody they had met for like 5 seconds died, and we tried to have an emotional moment. Like, they were like, okay, let's go. And then it was over. And
the thing about that, though, they weren't even sure what killed them.
No, they just made them die
I don't
because
know.
they didn't want them there anymore or something.
I guess I got hurt in the fighting.
It made no sense. Because this person is perfectly fine, and then, oh, wait, you're dying?
Yeah.
Why are you dying? Oh, I must have got hurt way back there somewhere. I'm going to die now.
I thought it was really neat, their tactical suits, which looked like this armor thing, and it apparently was like this juggernaut thing. They could crash through steel walls, piping, swim through anything, punch through anything. We're talking plate steel, like doors and stuff. Unless you're in a wicker basket, you can't get out of that.
Well, and that takes to another thing I had a problem with. Apparently, and I think this might go back to the lazy writing and the just not taking time to explain things, but they have a tool for everything that's needed. And instantly, it was like, oh, we need to get through this door. Oh, I have a magic lock. Pick. Oh, I can't pick this lock. Okay, my suit lets me walk through walls. Oh, now we're in a liquid world. Nope, it works on liquid too. I can swim through this. Oh, you're falling through space and gonna die. Oh, no, I have a ray gun that shoots out little lily pad things that I can walk across.
I did like that thing, though. That was pretty cool.
Again, it was neat.
It looked really cool.
But literally, there was no situation.
Oh, and here,
except the wicker basket, there was no situation they couldn't get out of just by pulling out whatever doodad that was specifically designed to fix that problem.
There was also, oh, you probably have a concussion and you're more than half dead. Here, drink this. Whoop. Oh, you're fine now.
Fixed. We're good. Let's go.
So, yeah, that was... Oh, man. Now, all that having been said, it was about what I expected, flat acting and bad dialogue aside. I had fun. Not all of us were quite so ready for something that, well, it wasn't even campy. If it had been campy, it would have been okay.
Well, and we, like I said, we rounded up to a 2 because some of us gave it 1s and some of us gave it 2s. And, I was not expecting it. The trailer made it look awful. I was going in like, oh, this is going to be bad, but maybe it'll at least be fun. I think it was kind of a meh, but I think I'm more angry with the meh. Because if you have a big sci-fi movie like this...
It had such a budget.
Oh, God. And when you have a movie like that, I'm like, okay, if it's terrible, I'm going to have fun with it. If it's good, I'm going to have fun with it. Mm-hmm. The only way it can really go wrong is if it's meh. And it was meh.
Yeah. So, you got any more to say on Valerian?
I can spend the next 20 minutes griping about it.
Well, rather than that, how about we go ahead and check out some stream it options? What do you got?
Okay, so mine is blatant and obvious, but it's Luke Besson is the guy that wrote it and directed it and did all that, mm-hmm. and he also did The Fifth Element. Mm-hmm. And The Fifth Element does what Valerian does well. It's really neat. It's got a neat world around it. It's good, sci-fi, scenery and planets and aliens, and it has a story.
Yes.
And I can actually tell you what the plot is. This giant doom is coming to destroy mankind, and there's a fifth element, which is actually a living person, and the fifth element is coming back to Earth to protect the Earth, and she happens to get attacked on the way there and ends up falling into a cab with Bruce Willis, who's a cabbie, and he's also ex-military and really good at his job. By the way, I buy Bruce Willis as a really good ex-military.
Yep.
I don't buy the 30-year-old that looks like he's 12 as a really good ex-military. But Bruce Willis has to defend her and protect her, and in the course of doing that kind of falls in love with her, and she doesn't feel like his sister, so that love story works.
Yes.
And a really neat world with a plot that makes sense for the most part, and some great acting, because you've got, like I said, it's Bruce Willis, Mia Jovovich, mm-hmm. and
Gary Oldman
as Zorg, and Chris Tucker. Like,
oh yeah, I forgot.
So some people could take or leave Chris Tucker, and some people hated that role, but I thought he did a really good job in that role.
He played it well.
He played the role well. But there were fun characters, beautiful. Like, it gave me everything Valerian did, but then told me a story at the same time, which makes it really good. And The Fifth Element is one of my favorite sci-fi movies. It is fun. Mm-hmm. If nothing else, it is fun. So check out The Fifth Element instead.
I will admit, I did not like The Fifth Element the first time I saw it because it wasn't quite what I expected. It is a little more toward that campy side, but it works really well as that. And I've watched it again more recently, and I like it so much more now. I'll watch it again.
Well, I don't think
it's a good movie.
It doesn't pretend it's not campy. Like, it just goes full.
It embraces that. And again, had the right actors to pull off the kind of story they were telling and had a solid story. So
never question the actors, never question the dialogue, never question the acting, never question the story.
No, that's a good pick. For mine, there are a couple different things I thought about. I honestly actually really thought about, and this is not my pick, but I thought about The Last Airbender. Because in both of these cases, with that and with Valerian, you had a guy who really actually loved the source material and tried really hard to make a movie out of it, and kind of reach exceeded the grasp in a lot of ways. Everybody seems to consensusly hate The Last Airbender. I'm the only exception to that, so I can't recommend it in good conscience because
you did not see.
I had not seen the source material, and so that was part of it. So what I'm actually going to recommend is
thank God,
just as ridiculous. I'm going to go with Avatar, James Cameron's big sci-fi. It, in a lot of ways, built a huge world, literally built a world that was a lot smaller in scope than Valerian, but what it did, though, was able to develop that world and have a story, even though it wasn't exactly original, but it was a well-developed story happen in that space that they created. And they actually spent a lot of time developing their characters and getting things going, and it works in every way that Valerian doesn't.
Well, I had made the comment earlier, everybody's trying to push trilogies. Everybody's trying to push, hey, we want a franchise.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to make a movie. We want to make a movie that's going to, have 6 or 8 of them down the road. Mm-hmm. And Valerian would have been a perfect opportunity for that.
Yes.
If we had just done, like you said, Avatar did, scaled it down and had a smaller movie, would have been great.
Tease the world, but give a great story.
And we could come back and build on it.
Get your characters well and established, and then, yes, leave them room to grow, leave room for more stories to happen, which there is room for more stories to happen, but I just don't think it's likely to happen as people haven't liked it. But so yeah, that's my pick. Avatar, James Cameron's Avatar, not to be confused with Avatar: The Last Airbender. So
that's a shame because, like I said, the world was really neat. I would have loved to seen something good done with it, and probably not going to.
So who knows? Maybe. But that's all the time we've got for this week. Thanks for watching Screen It or Stream It.
And remember, don't take your kids to the movies on Tuesday nights because that's when we go.